Hey, it's us. Always and once again. I'm JT. I got my homeboy with me. Say something might be.
What it do?
We're here. Iyanla. We said we was gonna do it and we did. We about a week and a half late.
But we're here.
But we here
once and again.
Once and again. Cause shoot, I remember I think I asked you like that Sunday right after it came up. Yeah. So when are y'all supposed to come on? You like yesterday? I'm like, oh, I guess we need to. And then our schedules we had to, and we finally got we're
here. Yeah,
we're here. So let's get to it. This is with Neffe, Neffe, and we all know her from Keisha Cole's sister, the R&B singer, Keisha Cole, and she's been on. I think Keisha Cole had like a reality show a few years back.
Did you ever watch it?
I seen a few episodes.
I heard like quotes from the show, but I've never seen the show. Like I've heard of Neffe, but I've never seen her until this show.
Yeah, she was on the show. Her and her mama. I forgot the mama name.
Frankie.
Yeah. I think they had their own spin-off little reality show, Nephy and Frankie.
That's the one I just said.
I don't know nothing about Frankie. I just know that's the mama. And she, she was a little trip on the reality show. But I think I only seen like less than 5 episodes. I didn't watch the whole season. That's all I needed. But we're here for Iyanla. They asked her and her husband, Shelby. They come to Iyanla to say, "Fix my life" or "Fix our lives." We meet them in a hotel room, and so that's what.
You all right, brother?
I went blank. You know I go blank every now and then. I ran out of gas already. God damn it.
We just started, and you volunteered to drive, and you ain't got no gas. This is how it be, folk. We're here though. But you guys know, like Iyanla does all the time, like, why am I here? So we get to hear some of their backstory. But she really wants to know, why am I here in the hotel versus...
She asked him twice. The first time, he went off and said, "Hey, we hear about her drinking." She drank not one drink, not 2 drinks.
Yeah, he said from sun up.
Yeah, from sun up, and she cut him off. Well, hold up now.
She said, "I'm a grown ass.
Yeah, I'm a grown ass. I can do whatever
whenever I want."
And they already told me, you drink then.
Yeah.
when you bring in, I'm a grown ass woman.
Because I feel like when you drink a lot, but you don't really want to accept it, you be like, I drink every now and then. A few drinks a day, maybe some wine. But when you say I'm grown, that's when you accept it. Hey, can't nobody tell me.
I drink whatever I want to.
Whatever I want to. She said, "What it has to do with you?" I'm like, "Don't he have to deal with you? This is your husband. Y'all in the same house. Y'all own Iyanla."
Yeah.
And this is the first thing he bring up. Maybe your drinking is a problem.
Maybe it's extra, a little too excessive. And so, I can't deal with it. Your attitude when you drink, the spirit that comes on you, I can't handle it.
Right.
You need to curb that. They always come with the little easy stuff, at the beginning. And Iyanla's like, well, I said why we're here, but I really want to know why we're in a hotel. Though.
Like why I didn't come to your house or whatever.
And, I see your clothes and everything. Like y'all stay here, which they do. And he said, well, it was, I sent the money in for our lease, and the lady wouldn't accept it.
She's like, I don't want your money.
I
don't want anything
y'all
from
celebrity family.
I just want y'all to leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was making it seem like it was because they were celebrity family.
Yeah.
She was like, nope. It's because they're big broad.
That happened. And Iyanla's like, okay, elaborate. He was like, between friends and family.
Mm-hmm. He said he was defending his wife or something.
Yeah,
like that.
He's basically, and she was like, he said, but I was defending you.
Yeah.
That's
and
why
you could tell that a lot of times when he tried to talk, she will overtalk him because she always, she kept mentioning throughout the episode that I use my voice or I was taught to use
That's
my
her
voice.
thing.
And he kind of, when she uses her voice, he kind of shuts down and kind of bags away because why start this argument? Why go here? I'm tired of going there. So we saw that throughout this episode.
And so he they finally told him, we here because of whatever drama that happened. Mm-hmm. And so I think he explains. Hold on, let me look at my notes.
This is when he started mentioning he had a heart attack. That was another reason at 43 why they lost their place.
Well, that was one thing. I guess I don't know if he couldn't work or whatever. But it was. I'm thinking it's the stress level.
It was the stress. Birdman said, "I go to work for a full day. I come home. I cook and I clean." And when he said that, I'm like, "Well, what does she do?"
She was being Neffe.
But see, I don't know her, so this is just weird to me.
That's what I don't know. Whatever Nephy is, that's what she was doing. And and we find out. I think the brother's only like 43.
Yeah, and had a heart attack.
And had a heart attack. And she said, "So, well, what were you thinking when you had the
a heart attack? Yeah, when you were in the hospital."
Or and he was, I was just, I was feeling alone. Like I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to
definitely didn't want to go home.
I didn't want to go home because wasn't home, which is his wife,
right?
Which is sad, but. And he was like, well, she said, what, how did you feel as a man moving into your family
into a
hotel? She wasn't even with him when they moved out. He said Neffe was doing her thing, and
what does that mean?
They never explained whatever her thing is. I don't know if it's a celebrity thing or
whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What she wasn't there. She wasn't there.
The fact that he cooks, he cleans, he's working full time,
he
takes care of the kids, going through all that by yourself. I feel like I would feel some type of way, especially if this is supposed to be my helpmate. This is my wife. She's supposed to support me and hold me up.
The life while he's trying to hold everything, so they won't just be destitute. And everything.
Do you think that that's the reason? Because I felt like on this episode, Iyanla spent more time with her husband than she did with Nephy. Maybe she was over Nephy.
He had more sense somewhat. He could talk to it like a real person. Like like he knew words.
Right on.
And so,
but I didn't get anything like super negative besides just kind of an attitude or whatever from Nephy. I wasn't getting like
But I think everything was more clear
with him.
So
she saw.
Let me work with him. Okay. Yeah, let me work with him first.
That makes sense.
And I'll probably get the truth more from him. We learned that she has like the lion gene on her, Neffe.
So you think it's Iyanla realizing that she's going to have to work with this reality TV star a little bit different than her husband, who's having like real issues that I can recognize.
Yeah, and it seemed like he had
real issues. Yeah, real issues, especially when they had the little one-on-one. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
And so she asked him, how you feel like moving in as a man. He said, I felt alone. I felt like 2 weeks, when I was in the hospital, and I looked in the mirror and I felt invisible. And she was like, He's like, I feel like I didn't want to be here anymore. And he was like, and she was like,
can you imagine that? You a grown man and you doing all of this stuff. To me, it sounds like he doesn't get any type of acknowledgement for his efforts or whatever. And he's always, I guess, she expects him to do this because he's been doing it.
Yeah.
So she expects him to do it. And the fact that he's dealing with something on the inside and she's not really acknowledging or even seem to care about what's going on with him, I feel like I would be invisible too.
Well, he dealing with somebody kept on saying I use my voice.
Yeah.
And she said, well, that could be, different things, but
when her and Iyanla talk later, yeah.
Yeah. But he was like, I feel some way when you say stuff and I just take a back seat and okay.
I feel like most of us will probably if you got a girl that's just coming at you all the time, giving you attitude, you're just talking back or whatever. Not really talking back because she's not a child, so she can say what she wants. But there comes a time where you have to listen. Otherwise, we won't get anywhere. What are we doing here?
I think that's her biggest thing. She's in her own little space. I don't know because her sister is an R&B singer or what, and she feels some type of privilege. I don't know.
Maybe.
But how they were living, Nah. And she told both of them, she's like, this is not a marriage. You know, y'all playing.
Yeah, this is dysfunction. Y'all living in dysfunction.
You know, you basically clueless. You think you know what you're doing. And she was like, I wanna fix my family. I wanna hold my family together.
No,
Neffe did. And she was like, you have no clue of how to hold a
family. How to even be a woman.
Right now, you just talking. You know, and so she got him alone. Mm. Of course, she got him alone first, and then, you know. Oh, no. I want
to tell me your love story.
Tell me your love story.
Tell me your love.
Yeah, how they first met.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this is my like, what the hell? You know,
this
moment.
Is when I started looking at Brother Man like, bruh.
Yeah,
come on.
It's like when I first saw her, you know, I looked at her and like, whoa. Mind you, she's 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
By some other dude's baby. Not even dude she went.
Yeah,
she came to the party. They had a party. And that's where he saw her at. And I'm like, oh, she with a dude. That's not the baby daddy. So she's 7 months pregnant with somebody who knows.
Who would want to get involved? That just seemed like...
She's 7 months pregnant. I can see 2 to 3 months.
And you don't know.
Yeah. But I wouldn't just look at a 7 month pregnant woman and say, I gotta have her. She my wife. No, that
come here, Rib. No, it doesn't cross your mind.
That doesn't cross my mind at all. He was like, she feels like home, and he was like, but first we got to know what home is. If this is home to you, and he was like, yeah, you know, this is what I like. You know, old ghetto girl with kids.
Yeah, like, we don't know if that's a good thing.
All my red flags. I'm like. There's somebody for everybody. That's all I can say. That's true. That's what he likes.
It's true.
I don't know.
He saw something like he was comfortable in that.
He was comfortable in that, you know. And so, you know, he said, you know, I talked to him. We met eyes, and I instantly
fell in love.
I fell in love. And she asked her, she like, so, you know, what was your part of the love story? Yeah. She said, well, I heard him say something, and I turned around. I'm like, Who is this man? Everything was so superficial.
Yeah, that wasn't deep. I heard him talk.
I heard him talk, and I was like, you know, this the man I want to spend the rest of my life with.
But she didn't make that decision just then. He said we went out a couple more times, and then I guess the guy he was living with or something, he maybe had a roommate. He called him Lou. He said he told me that she called him saying, "Can she come over here?
Can I come?" How was that? How was that like the line to say? I need a place to stay.
I'm thinking you want to come visit.
You want to chill.
You want to cheat. You know, Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Situation.
No, she came with her kids and the boyfriend, and he let it. Yeah, and he let it happen. He like, you know, I like you, but you got a man. And so I don't want to do that. But you let them come in.
You let them come in.
And she was like, you saying you don't want no drama.
But you
invited the drama in.
Said you the director of the drama.
and that was so confusing to me. I'm like, you want to live so drama free, but you want everything with
you gonna invite a girl that you saw and said you loved to stay with you with her boyfriend, who ain't even her baby daddy.
And they all live, and he said it was more than a month and a half.
Now, I can see if you was like a priest, you know, a transitioning priest or something like that. And so you're trying to do, what would Christ do? You know, one of those moments. But nothing about this said that this was a good thing. This was a good thing.
It started off wrong. Old ghetto girl. 7 months pregnant. You see a 7 month pregnant woman. She came with her boyfriend.
She might have had she might have had it going on at 7 months. You never know. Somebody thought she did. They got her pregnant.
You trying to put icing on some shit. That's what you're doing, might be.
Anyway.
And so now we move to him talking to her by themselves. Yeah. They outside talking, and she was like, you know, tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. Tell me about yourself. And he was saying, well, you know, it all started. You know, I was 12, and I became a father. I got a girl pregnant. And she was like, hold up now, 12, and you become somebody's father already. And then he delved into more stuff. He was talking about it was him and his sister, and his mother was in a relationship. I guess I don't know if he knew his father or not. I think he said his father was.
Evidently, that relationship was toxic or whatever.
And his mother was dealing with a college player, a college basketball player, and the guy, he was with them, and she was with him, and he said for some reason she left him, and they went. He said went back to Flint. I'm guessing Flint, Michigan, and he said he followed them. The basketball player followed him. I don't know if he became the stepfather. Is that the stepfather he was talking about?
Yeah, that's the stepfather he was talking about. Because he said he was, playing basketball. He was good enough. Yeah, he headed to the NBA. And then for your girl to leave you in that moment, I'm sure he resented her a little bit.
That made me, my antenna came up again. I'm like, so this is a guy that's about to go to the NBA, but he wants to go with some lady that already has 2 kids. That seemed like she ain't no good already. I don't know what he saw.
What it was about her. Yeah.
She must have had some. I don't. I mean, but you know what? You about to go to the NBA and you follow somebody. So
evidently basketball wasn't really his passion. It was something he could do.
But everything in the beginning was
the fight between the mother and the stepfather.
Yeah, it was just all wrong. And so he tells us that him and his sister were molested
by a couple.
Which was it mean like a man and woman or like a couple of people?
I thought he meant like a man and a woman.
So they were together, a couple.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
I didn't know if it was he meant a couple of people or an actual couple.
I don't know because she said by a man.
My man and woman, he said a couple. And
I don't know.
But anyway, he tried to tell his mother, and his mother was like, you lying.
Yeah.
And he said, why I gotta lie? I'm young. Why I just gotta lie on this person? And she was basically, I don't believe you. And you know how that go. And then and she said, tell me something that you don't want me to know. And he was like, I'm scared and all of that. And then he gave her another story about when he was 17, he had another son, and they said he said when the son was 7 years old, he got killed by a car. I guess somebody hit him with a car, and he never dealt with that. I'm guessing it was over Iyanla moment. They on the grassy knoll at her healing house, and she on the ground and he laying on her lap. Motherly.
It was motherly, but borderline inappropriate to me.
It can be sensual or sexual.
Well,
somewhat.
I feel like if he was just laying on her lap and she's listening to him, but she was like caressing his head and rubbing his chest, which we know this is what Iyanla does, and I don't think she means anything by it. But I'm sure once Neffe looked back and like, what the hell y'all? So she spent all this time with you and she rubbing on you. Yes. And so it looks inappropriate. Maybe she needs to find some other tactics. Just drag it out his back again. How she did with the tail on. Yeah, drag it out his back.
But anyway, he tells her about that story, and he seems to. She said these are the signs of depression. He's saying I don't want to be here. I'm exhausted. I'm afraid. And she said when you say afraid, that's a good sign. You didn't say hopeless. You're not a hopeless person. And so his story is he's depressed. All the things that he's been through, and it seems like he always
hasn't dealt with.
And he always has to take care of everything.
Right. She asked him like, who can you rely on, or who do you depend on, or something like that, or who shows you concern. He's like nobody. So he has to deal with all that by himself, which of course I believe with all the stress, and then dealing with the reality TV girlfriend or wife and everything she makes you do and puts you through. I can see that driving you to some type of medical condition.
And so she said, well, how about you mind if I take care of you for the next 12 hours? And so she sends him to the house, got all these
beautiful black women.
Yeah.
Beautiful black women. Which
taking care
again, I'm like, this seems,
why she like,
this seems wrong. Like, I don't know. I feel like if my wife saw this, she would be like, wait a minute, what is Iyanla up to? She's trying to get you laid.
She got hairdressers, masseuse.
Yeah, they gave him massage, they cooked for him and
cut his hair. I
said they lied brother man up. They edged him up. Like they were really taking care of him. And I understand what Iyanla was trying to do, show him what being taken care of feels like, because he's never experienced that. He's had to grow up at such an early age. But again, with everything he's dealing with, seeing, and then his wife, I'm sure as all that was going on in the back of his mind, he was thinking, what is Neffe gonna think? Once she finds out about it. Because he was eating, and then eventually he kind of pushed the food away, and then we saw him get in the bed.
It seemed like he was depressed the whole time. Yes, I'm like, this is how a depressed person eats. This is how a depressed person goes to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, he was just looking all the a pillow, I guess. He was just looking just woe is me.
Right.
And so we go to Nephy. Her and Iyanla have a talk, and she was like, did you, what did you think about, your husband and all that, what he said? And she's like, well, he really doesn't give me that information. And she said, how'd you feel when he said all that?
Like he didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah,
that's deep.
You didn't see the pain in his eyes, because when he was talking, she was just looking some other way. She wasn't looking concerned.
And maybe she doesn't know how. I think that's what Iyanla was trying to say. She probably.
Well, she said she didn't know. She didn't have no idea. She asked her about her. Who raised you? Mm-hmm. She said, "Well, who's your mama?"
Yeah, basically.
She's like, "Well, I didn't get raised by my mama. Well, were you raised by wolves?" I mean, she was wrong. Like, she was just shitting on me. She was like, "Well, no, I was raised by my grandparents." And she said, "So, what did your grandma teach you?" Yeah. She said, "Well, I was raised in a strong. She
told me how to use my voice."
Yeah, it seemed like that's the wrong.
Yeah,
and it seemed like you using your voice to be rude. Mm-hmm. Seemed like she said your voice could be like how you act,
or even being
your body, anything, not just talking. And it seemed like her voice was like, I got to speak on everything.
Yeah. She said earlier, if I don't like something, I need to let you know.
I'm gonna let you know that ain't using your voice,
right?
And she was like, so did she teach you anything? She said, well, she wasn't rude to my grandfather. She, they basically she was.
She said no infidelity, nothing like that.
She didn't cuss her grandfather out. How did you learn this?
we both were looking at each other like, well, where'd she get it from? You wasn't raised by your mama. Your grandma was nice to your grandfather and treated him and showed you what a relationship was supposed to look like. How did we get here?
And so she was like, well, I was trying to connect with my mother.
Yeah,
so I was out in the streets
before 16.
Yeah, she said, well, I ran away from home. Yeah, like you said, at 16, trying to connect with my mama, and her mama was out in the streets, and I guess she chose that way. It seemed like her grandparents were decent people. Or, not enough for her to just be out wild in the streets. It seemed like that.
Well, maybe they didn't have enough time with her to actually instill, some values or whatever. Her grandmother didn't have
16,
time.
You know something.
Well, I don't know what age she was when she actually moved in with her grandma. I don't know.
Well, she said she raised me, so I'm thinking, if raised, you've been there for a minute. you know a little something.
And so you ignored everything you saw.
You know how to shut up.
But you listened to everything the streets taught you. That's what's weird.
And so she was out in the streets doing the thing. What else she say? She said, "So what? Why are you here? What? I'm trying to hold the family together. That was her thing. Well, you have no idea. You don't have the tools. You don't know how to.
You're clueless about even being in a marriage and being a mother or holding a family together, because you didn't acknowledge what you were being taught, maybe subliminally by your grandmother, and you held on to the street stuff."
And she said, "So what made you fall in love with?" Or she said, "Well, I haven't seen you say that you love your husband. Is everything is saying like what he can do for you?" Yeah. She said, "Well, he opened the doors. He was different." He said, "Yeah, that's what he can do for you." Yeah. Well, he showed me a different type of man. Yeah, what he can do for you. Well, he spoiled me, and
she want him to get back to that when he was courting her and buying her all of this and taking her places again.
She said, "You want him to spoil you, but this man is talking about he don't want to live."
Yes.
And you talking about, you want the courting back.
Right. And never once did I get another or feel that she grasped how deep that is, or that her husband is ready. Like if he would have killed himself, she probably would have felt some type of way initially. But I felt based on how things have been going in this conversation, she would have got over it pretty quickly. And that's, I hate to even say that because I don't think if it actually happened that she would feel that way. Mm-hmm. But she just don't seem to be concerned about what he's going through, and he's the one who's doing everything for her and her kids. That's the person I would think you would want to make sure he cool. Because you're relying on him.
And she said you didn't want to take the pressure off of him.
And get your job.
She's like, hold up now. He told me he just wanted to take care of the kids and take care of home basically, and then I'll do everything else. Yeah. But
he taking care of the kids.
But he
taking care of home, and he doing everything else. So
Neffe doing Neffe.
Now it was emotional when Iyanla asked her about her son that passed away, but you found out about that at the top of the episode. That was a moment, and I'm glad Iyanla kind of softened up instead of continuing to go in on her, because she had reason to go in on her. Mm-hmm. But that was a moment to kind of bring it back and acknowledge that she's hurting right now. She's dealing with her own thing, just like he is, and they both need to work through this thing together. But they have to work through their separate issues, the baggage that they're bringing into this relationship before they can do that.
And he seemed like he wasn't, you didn't see the signs right off.
No.
That's like after he
because he's suicide.
Like I didn't know what he was thinking. It was like he was that type of person, and so that's basically the gist. Of the first episode, us learning what these two are.
Yeah, but remember, the producer came in and said, "Oh, boy ain't doing too good right now. He going through a crisis. And we saw when he got in that bed, he didn't seem right. Look,
he seemed like he was having second, third, and fourth thoughts.
Yeah,
and he was like, "I don't want to do this. I don't." She like, "You don't want to do what?
All of this
whole thing."
And that's where they're gonna pick up next episode.
Yeah.
Or you guys have already seen it. We haven't seen it yet. We'll be back, hopefully this weekend. Just to talk about the second episode or second part, but
so it looks classic, but hopefully the hurt will be subsided by everything else that they can, some tools that they can have to go on for, because they don't seem like bad people.
Right, I'm not getting that.
Yeah, it's just just baggage. That was her thing, just baggage of what they brought into the relationship.
Right,
and so. That's all we have for you today. Hopefully we'll have
more this weekend
on episode 2. Till next time.
Peace.